Hi, good evening, everybody. This is Amy Mayer with friEdTechnology, and I am turning this webinar over to my colleague Brooke tonight because I am going to be rolling the mouse, which is a lot of responsibility. So that's my job. And now, Brooke, I'm going to turn it over to you. So let's talk about our fried summer of 2019.
All right. I think I'm going to wait just a few seconds, maybe introduce ourselves just real quick before we really get started, because I think as soon as we hit broadcast, some of our attendees who are waiting are just joining, so I want to make sure that they don't miss any of the good things. So first of all, my name is Brooke Lowry, and I am with the friEdTechnology crew here, and we did have a very busy summer, and we're going to talk a lot about that, and I'm sure some of you that are joining right now are some of our teachers that we had in those audiences. We have as you see, Amy is with us, and Jess and Alicia. So Jess, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, I'm Jessica Powell Albright, and I'm a learning guide with friEdTechnology, and I am a big fan of cats, and I live at home with my husband.
And we just broke the internet because we all need about 45 minutes to laugh about that.
That was good, Jess.
That was really great. That was really awesome. Alicia, you get to follow that. And
I don't want to follow that. So I am Alicia Swedberg, and I have been working on friEd Online this summer. And I do not like cats, but I love dogs and my child. So, you know.
And the child is definitely the winner of that group, so that's pretty great.
Listen, back when I met Alicia, she loved cats.
I used to be a cat lady.
Yeah. She used to be a cat lady. I love it.
Was.
So I'm going to look at our attendee list, see who. Oh, we have a few people. Some of Sharon and Efren. It's so good to see you guys. There's Alfonso and Talisha and Kelly. We're so glad you guys joined us. So as people start to jump in, we'll also repeat this. But if you guys have any questions or anything, you guys can always use the chat feature. Oh, guess who found it?
Who's here?
Sharon McMichael.
Yay! Hey, Sharon. Love you, Sharon.
Yeah, Sharon, I feel like it's been 100 years since we've seen you or talked to you, so I'm so excited you guys are here tonight. So we'll be chatting over there in the chat box as well as we go through tonight. So
Can I just add something in real quick, because I don't want to forget to tell you guys, and you're going to love it. So today I was in Garland ISD working with some teachers, and one of the ladies who kind of crept in at the end of my session, I thought, gosh, she wasn't there at the beginning of the day, and she's kind of being a creeper, and she just kind of lurked around the back of the session, and afterwards she came up to me and she said, I just want to let you know, I went to TCEA and I sought out every single friEd trainer who was there and just cyber stalked them, and I went to every session, and I'm so excited you were here. You did a great job, even though it only caught the last 30 minutes. And I was like, that is awesome.
That is so great to hear.
That was
great.
Very awesome.
We love it when you guys do that, and definitely so we get to know your names and your faces, and because a lot of times we're friends with everybody on Twitter for a year or two, and then we finally get to meet face to face. It's like, oh, you're a real person behind that keyboard. This is so great. So that's great. All right, well, I think we're going to go ahead and jump into this. We're going to be talking about all of our friEd summer adventures. If you guys want to get to this agenda, it is friEd.tech, TacoBout Summer 19. So friEd.tech, TacoBout Summer 19. The other link is going to take you to the same thing that you click to get into the webinar. So you definitely want to go to friEd.tech/TacoBout Summer 19. I'm seeing some anonymous animals jump in there, so I think you guys are making it in.
And Jess put it in the chat too, so you should be able to click on it from there.
Great, thanks, Jess. That's so handy for you to do that. Yeah, Jess has been our road warrior. She has made it from Dallas to Conroe in literally minutes to spare for the webinar tonight. So she's doing awesome.
It was my driving goal, literally.
That's great. Okay, so I don't know if you guys saw this in our mail out, but we created a Google tour to kind of show you some of the places we went this summer. So if you want to navigate to that friEd.tech Summer 19, it's going to take you to a Google tour where we put in some really fun pictures from all the different places that we traveled this summer. And I always feel like we've been everywhere, but when I visually put it into this map, I was like, man, we put in some miles this summer and got to see a lot of really great faces. It also made us realize that we need to take more pictures of you guys as we're out there and working and getting to know everybody. We did, I think the furthest we went was Madison, Wisconsin. So
Yeah,
that
I
was,
think
we worked
so.
with the administration teams in Madison, Wisconsin, and Frank Murray went up there and did that one, and he loved it and enjoyed it. And if you've ever been to Madison, Wisconsin and had the cheese curds, then you did well. There's a little town somewhere outside of Madison that has a Culver's. Is that the right name of that fast food restaurant?
Yeah.
And it's the very first one.
Oh,
It's
wow.
the
I didn't know
original
that.
Culver's. Yeah. These
Super
are the
cool.
random things that I know, and I've been there, so.
Okay, so I went to New Orleans like 5 times this summer,
You did,
and
yeah,
I
you
need
have
there
to-
to be 5 little things for
spots.
every single time I went there, because it wasn't just one.
You need to click on that New Orleans one so we can see that picture, that road sign that you found.
Oh, is it in there up here?
It is.
Yes, there it is.
There it is. 4th Street and Fried.
Yep, it happened.
That's
the
going to be
middle
like
bar.
the name of our, that's the name of our new HQ, 4th Street and Fried.
4th
Yeah.
Street and Fried. That's
Very
great.
nice.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Brooke, what would you say about this tour builder? Like, how could you use this educationally after you kind of dug in here and looked at what all's available in here?
So the first thing that I found with the tour builder that I really enjoyed was how easy it was to do. I mean, it sometimes simplicity is all you need. Like, I don't need a bunch of bells and whistles. I don't want to search and hunt for the toolbar. I don't want to look for the 300 buttons in the order I need to click them on. This one, I literally just click on there, added the information. I was able to come back and put the pictures later. I could change the icon colors. I can change the map path colors later. I didn't figure out how to rearrange the pins, but to be honest, I didn't work very hard at it either. Once I realized I forgot a few dates, I just added them at the end, and I tried to drag and drop them, but it didn't really work. So, but I'm not saying that that can't be done. I think there's a chance that it can be done.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool tool. I was impressed with our travels and what you made there. And then Jessica has been doing something with that is educationally related. And I know because I worked on it with some teachers in San Antonio. And it was really cool.
She was doing the My Maps, which is really great because you can put even more information. The other thing about the tour builder that I liked is the sharing permissions. Just like everything else that's in Google, I was able to share it privately with just the link, or I could publish it publicly, where then everybody got this full, nice, big view of it without having to sign in and create an account. Because I think that that's kind of a big holdup with a lot of our students and our teachers when they're working is, if I create this, in order for people to view it, do they have to have an account? Right. And I mean, I think that is huge. That's some of the other platforms that I like to look at and use is, do they have to have an account to be able to see what I created in this platform? Yeah. And if they don't, to me, it's a win.
Yes, love that. That's so cool.
So yeah, anyway, so y'all check that out. I think you'll enjoy looking through there and seeing some of the places. So our next huge announcement, besides our friEdTechnology house and business location, is we launched our official online school. So Alicia, you want to tell us a little bit about what's been going on in Fried Online?
We are super excited that we have it up and running now, and you'll have to excuse me, I keep muting myself because it is thundering like super loud here, so if you hear it in the background, you'll or see the lightning flashing, you'll know why.
Oh, I heard it just now.
Yeah, it's like a really scary
It's so weird. We're not that far away and there's nothing.
That's crazy. I just heard it.
Yeah, it's really loud. So, and the lights keep kind of, going in and out, but okay. So, but we're super excited. We have Fried Online up and running. We have a free course available. I know some of you have already taken it, and I've gotten to visit with you about some feedback from it. So it's been really exciting. But our free one is Spark Joy with Google Keep. So if it's a tool that you haven't used yet, feel free to log in and enroll in our school, take our free course, and kind of get a feel for it. We also have our Google Educator Level 1 live and the Level 2 2 will hopefully be live next week, and Smart Gmail and Introduction to Gmail is live. And we have a couple others in the works, so they're coming out quickly. We're really excited about that. So I don't know, Amy, you want to add anything?
Yes, of course I do. Of course, I can barely stop myself from adding things. I mean, I'm really excited about it. I don't know if anybody read my blog article that I wrote this week, but hopefully everybody, and I know you guys who are here tonight know I'm really passionate about education, and I'm passionate about adult education and doing it right. And, you know, I was the worst teacher ever in PD because I'm a terrible participant. I'm always thinking about how it could be better and why it's not good and why am I bored right now and why do I dread going to professional development, and I always felt like online PD just sucked. And I took classes online, I taught classes online, and I just never felt like what I was experiencing was good. I knew it wasn't good. I knew it could be a lot better. And Alicia and I have been friends for a long, long time, and we worked together in Conroe ISD, and I knew that, you know, since she left that district and I went and pursued kind of staff development goals, she went and pursued learning really how to create quality online experiences. And she's been working on that for 8 years. And so through all these years, we've been talking, and I have been just dying to get her on our team and dying to get her to make what I knew and what I really believed would be the best online learning experience that you can have as an adult in our field. And I'm so confident that that's what you're going to think when you take our classes. So I want you to go check it out. That's why Alicia spent literally weeks making the Google Keep course so that you can take it completely for free. Because I say in my blog article that I wrote last week, a person asked me a question, and at first it just went all over me. Like I felt that like flush of anger that happens when somebody asks you something that really offends you. And I felt it, and I had to really fight it, because she said, what's the difference between taking your online courses and just watching some videos on YouTube and looking at some help sites? And it just, I had to be quiet for a minute and compose myself, because it was really hard for me to not get angry about that, because I know how many differences there are. But once I did reflect on that question, she really did us a favor by asking that question, because it's what everybody should think. And honestly, if you're a good steward of your school district's money, you should be thinking that question. And if there's no difference, you shouldn't be buying an online course, right, Jessica? Because have you taken online courses where you would have been just as well off watching some YouTube videos?
I have literally taken courses that I have to take every single year for like compliance, for instance. And I have pulled out a spiral notebook with all of the answers and just gone through and mindlessly checked boxes. And I'm not saying that, you know, I understand compliance. We all understand we have to do certain things, but, you know, as a learner, it felt like a huge waste of my time, and it's valuable time.
Right, exactly. And that's how I always felt about it too. And, you know, I didn't, you know, even when I was staff development director, well, I knew teachers were passing around answers, and I didn't say a word, because there was nothing of value there. And we all knew that. And I didn't want to be a hypocrite by insisting that there was, because there wasn't. So this is refreshing, because, for example, when I took the Google Keep course, I went into that thinking I'm not going to learn anything new. I use Google Keep all the time. My family uses it. We use it collaboratively with each other. I mean, I've taught it. I teach it to administrators all the time. I have a whole presentation on it. I really didn't think I was going to learn anything new. And I learned 3 new things when I took that course that were pretty major things that really shocked me that I did not already know. Like Alicia asked me, well, did you know that you can make some of your Keep notes private? And I'm like, no, you can't. She's like, yeah, you can. Look at this. This is how you do it. And I'm like, I don't train from my real account, because I've got like social security numbers in there and everything, you know? So it just blew me away, and I know it's going to blow you away too. So I'll shut up about it, but I do really hope, if you have not already gotten in and taken a look at it, and at any point you run up on this webinar, please take the Google Keep course, because it's something you can use in your everyday life as well.
Hey, and Amy, we just want to say, Sharon just posted a comment that I want to read out loud, because it kind of really goes to what you were saying about, you know, why our online courses. And she said, I like your online courses because I feel like I'm sitting in a chair right next to one of you. It's about knowledge and personality. Yeah. Like, I took a
Aw,
screenshot of that. Just know,
Yes.
Sharon, you're about to be quoted in lots of things
Yes, you
with that
are.
quote,
Thank
because
you.
that is exactly the goal that we wanted and we were looking for. And like that just, this is
That sums
why
it
we
up right
call
there.
you our our fried fan president, because
Yes.
those moments can only come from Sharon McMichael.
Yes. And Sharon, I can't wait for you to meet Alicia. You two are going to love each other because she is also one of the nicest people I've ever known in my life, as are you. So thank you so much for that.
And yet it's the truth. I love it.
Thank you, Sharon.
Yeah, so we're really excited about some of these other, courses that we have coming up as well, and we think you guys are going to love them. They're going to be up there very soon. I
Brooke,
don't know if
tell
I'm
everybody
building
what
as
Chromebook
fast as I
Scavenger
can.
Hunt is
Okay,
real
yeah.
quick. And I know Alicia's working on that right
I
now.
am.
And
It's going really well.
The only
good.
way to talk about the Chromebook scavenger hunt is really to talk about the fail. And that is that we try to come up with an introduction to the Chromebooks, and we tried it several different ways. And one particular event, poor Jess, I'm throwing you out there, we tasked her with standing in front of this room, this auditorium full of teachers who literally got their Chromebook when they walked in the auditorium. And they opened it, and we were just trying to talk to them, just talk out loud to them about their Chromebook and show them things. And it was not working. Do you agree, Jess, that it was not working?
It was one of those like waking up and having to present naked in front of your classroom and professor moments for me. It was like crickets.
Yes. And she
even
was like looking at me, and I was trying to help. And if anyone has ever presented on a stage in front of an auditorium, there is absolutely nothing you can do. You just kind of close your eyes and pretend it's not happening and just keep talking until the clock runs out.
All I remember of that whole experience was there was some lady who worked that district or that place. I don't even remember who we were working with at the time. I just remember leopard print shoes. I just looked at her shoes alive because I just had to get through that.
It's almost like a panic attack, isn't it?
It is. And we knew that and I'm sitting there thinking, oh my goodness. And all these teachers are now going to come into our sessions the rest of the day, and they're already so turned off. And so when we left that, it was a long drive home, and Jess and I brainstormed the whole way home about how can we change so that moment never happens again. But it's so important for those who are just opening Chromebooks for the first time, students and teachers, to understand that they are different. They function different. The keyboard's different. There's not a caps lock button. Like how do I click on this? How do I use this? And so we wanted them to be able to find a way to do that without us standing at the front of a room looking at someone's leopard print shoes and teaching people about their Chromebooks. And that's when the Chromebook scavenger hunt was developed. And it's just challenge-based learning, or just having them go through, take a screenshot, or having them go through and practice using the keyboard, practice the shortcuts, practice using the mouse pad and those sort of things, the trackpad. And it really has helped a lot. A lot of times when people walk out of our sessions now, they're like, okay, I'm ready to use the Chromebook. And I'm like, great. And it also helps because some people have used Chromebooks before, some haven't, and everybody wants to play with their tool at their own pace. And I know that just from, I picked up a new phone from the store, and within 2 hours, I have all my stuff transferred, and I'm like, oh, it works just like the other one. When my dad has to change phones, it's a 2-week get to know your device process. So, you really have to let people try their stuff at their own time.
You know what else I think that Chromebook scavenger hunt is really good for? So when a school or a district or just an individual gets a Chromebook, a lot of times, I would say a good majority of the time, people just kind of underestimate how different the device can be. And so they jump into trying to do their daily grind, and it is very similar, but there are enough noticeable differences that it can cause some strife in your life. Oh my gosh, Alicia, was that
Alicia? I know, and it's happening.
Looking.
And it's happening at my house now too. Ooh. I thought it was just Alicia's thunder I was hearing, but it turns out it's in my own yard as well.
I just think that whenever we get tasked with going to a district and doing a workshop like, I don't know, level 1 or even just getting started with Google or doing a GT update, if people aren't familiar with the Chromebook, that it can really set the tone in a negative way for a whole workshop. And so having something like this Chromebook scavenger hunt, it makes it a little bit more fun for people, and it teaches them a lot of stuff in a short period of time. And so it kind of sets the rest of the coursework network up for success when if we didn't do something like that before, it could have really put a damper on things.
Yeah. Alicia may have to sign out so her family
I'm
can come
having my
home.
own light show over here.
Hunker
really
down.
are.
Bathrooms and
I
mattresses.
think you might need to
get
get under the desk.
I kicked my whole family out so that it would be quiet, and they might end up coming back. So if it gets really loud.
Yeah, I'm thinking they may need to before it's coming a storm. Oh,
Okay,
man.
one more thing I want us to at least touch on before we move on from online courses is deep fried selections, which I know some of you guys who are in here tonight are going to be interested in that. So will y'all talk about what we plan for that to be?
Yes. So deep fried selections is, we have really been thinking about our ed tech leaders and our coaches that go out and work with staff, and they tell us all the time that they like going to conferences because that's when they get their PD. But at the same time, like, when can they do this that's going to work, that's not just at conferences, or what if they can't get to conferences? So this deep fried selections is really going to be for those who want to get in, learn some new quick tips and tricks and some different specific style lessons with templates that they can then start working with teachers with immediately.
And I like that we're really going to build, like, it's not going to be as much of a course where your objective is to learn, do, and turn in something, but it's going to be community based, it's going to be Q&A based, it's going to be a little bit more dependent on what you put into is what you get out of it kind of course, at least that's what I envision for it.
Yeah, it's going to be like YouTube Plus.
Yeah. Man, that's a thing right there, Brooke. Write that down.
You like that? YouTube Plus?
Yes.
You had me at deep fried. Yeah, we're going to go a little bit deeper than what you just see on YouTube. We're going to get down to the meat of it.
Like wow, that? She's on a roll.
Hey, it's been a long day.
Filling our blooper reel with you tonight, Brooke.
Hey, what our friends don't know is how great we put together IKEA furniture all day today.
Yes, we did.
We did. Great. All right, so let's talk about our 10 Google updates that you may have missed. I hope that everyone saw these out there. We had them on our Twitter account, Instagram, Facebook, and they seem to get a bunch of shares and likes. So I think there's a few Google updates that you guys may have missed this summer. And the first one we're going to talk about.
Who's talking about it?
It's me.
Oh, it's me, but the problem is that I thought I lost Wi-Fi for a second with that big boom, but it didn't. We're good. Hey, we're going to make it through this.
I have faith in us. We can do
it. Okay, so what's new in Google Classroom? Hey, guys, when you're on this presentation, the little link in the top right-hand corner that you see, or it may be in the left-hand corner, that link is going to either take you out to our blog post or some more information about each of these items. I think that this one is definitely going to take you to this whole presentation about what's new in Google Classroom. So Amy, I don't know if you have that one open.
Let me try that again, because
if you click anywhere on that slide, it should take you. I think I did the whole box. Yeah.
There we go. No?
Cool. Yes.
Yes?
Now
okay.
You should be able to scroll through that.
There we go.
There we go.
Good.
So some of the new things, this is probably the number one thing when it updated that I had so many teachers tell me that they couldn't find their work. And that is because it now is in the far right-hand corner on the classwork page. So before, students would have it drop down below underneath where it told the student exactly what the assignment was about and what they were going to be doing. There'd be a big link to it. But now all of it is on the right-hand side underneath where it says your work. And this is where the students can click to open any assignment or link or video or anything that the teacher has added to the assignment. And this is also now the place where they're going to click turn in, mark as done, resubmit. So it's now all the way on the right-hand side. To me, visually, it looks so much better. It's easier to find and navigate. But if your students are like, this is not working, I don't know where it is anymore, just have them look to the right. And they should be able to see it.
You know where I've run into the most trouble with people trying to find their content or where to put their work is on a question in Classroom, because they answer the question in that tiny little box in the upper right-hand corner, and then only then when they hit submit do they get to see the link. So what I keep running into is I keep running into people putting a class comment as a response to a question, instead of submitting their answer to the question. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I've seen that too.
So heads up to anybody who's using a question for a discussion thread. They'll have to type their answer up in that upper right-hand corner box to get their answer posted.
That was a really good suggestion. We may need to put that out there in another format as well to know that, because I haven't seen that, so that's really great.
I'm going to write that down. How about that?
Write that down. Yeah, I like it. Put on one of those purple sticky notes we know you have.
We went in there today. We're like,
I was in your office today. It's so funny. Okay, let's see, what else do we have? Oh, the themes are now different. There's a few different pre-made themes, and the color schemes go nicely with these pre-made themes. I know that drives some of us that love color and color coordination. That drove me nuts in Google Classroom. So I love how the colors are changing better with these themes.
The only thing I don't like about it is I can no longer say click on the whatever color button, because I don't know what color it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. But it's a small thing. We can get over that.
That is a small thing. I'd rather it look pretty instead of being brown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotcha. I hear you. It's all right.
So the gradebook inside of Google Classroom is a huge new thing. The gradebook now, and guys, I'm barely going to get into this because we could go left, we could go right with this, either direction. You can now set categories. So if you want things to be weighted differently, as far as you want your quizzes to be weighted more heavily than your daily assignments, you can set that up. There's now 2 different places you can see the gradebook, either on the grade page or from the Classroom tab. You can click the little squiggly arrow next to the folder, and that will take you directly to the grades. You can grade from inside the grade page. And for someone who ran online courses from Google Classroom, this would have saved so much time to go into the grade page, see who had turned everything in, and grade it and return it directly from the grade page. So then I can see everything right there in one shot. So I know that you guys are loving that update for sure. Amy, if you'll click on the next slide, go ahead and go to the next one. Maybe one more. We're going to get to it. I talked about that all really fast. This one. If you guys click on those green arrows when you guys have them up, I believe the green arrows are linked to the Google support pages, and that will tell you exactly how to walk through setting up that grading system. And from everything that I've seen on the Google blog is that they have already started integrating some of the Google Classrooms with a few of the actual gradebook programs, so that if you're using the gradebook in Google Classroom, it will then talk to and integrate with whatever gradebook your school district is using. I know it's not
if your administrator sets it up.
Right, if they've set it up. Is it all of them now?
No, it's
not all. It's a select list. Yeah,
and there I know for a fact, because I heard it today in a place where I was working, that their gradebook company sent them an email and basically said, we're going to send you a FAQ on how to set it up, because apparently there are some things on the classroom side that you have to do that will have to match. And that makes sense. They have to apples to apples
talk. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So everybody's just got to be patient for that piece.
This is a really great, though, innovation. I didn't actually know this until just now, to be able to turn off the overall grade calculation, because then you can show students what they make on individual assignments without getting their hopes up that their grade is maybe higher than they think it is over in the real student information system.
Right, yeah, and I think that's major, because I know there's so many teachers using so many different platforms that maybe they're not grading every single thing through Google Classroom, so their weight may be totally different. For sure.
Exactly. And you don't want parents looking at that thinking, oh, my kid's got an A+, and meanwhile that's not what the grade is. So yeah, that's great. Awesome.
I think that's everything in that one. Yeah.
Oops.
Oh, you're fine.
Alfonso, yeah, that's what I heard today also about Skyward.
Okay. Great. Great to know.
Great. Good to know. Yeah, that one's a popular one.
So Brooke, can I just say, like, full disclosure, whenever you just clicked on that little link in the corner to get to that all about new in the classroom slide deck, I didn't realize that was there. I thought that was a header slide, and that this next slide was the thing that was new in classroom. So I just got super excited about uncovering that little piece of information.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love those little hidden things.
Yes.
Yeah. This, if you click that little link on this one, it's going to take you to the blog that Jess wrote about the rubrics in Google Classroom. So all your directions will be there.
That was a very popular blog, by the way.
Yes.
And it wasn't because of my stellar writing skills. I think people are just super excited about this feature. And when they saw it come out, they were like, well, I have to know about it right now.
Yeah. You do have stellar writing skills,
You
though.
do.
Well, I did have a good writing teacher.
You did. You really did. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, that was a way to pat myself on the back there, wasn't it?
I walked right into that, yeah.
You did.
Did you want me to talk about this then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. So one of the things, sorry, I just assumed I would. But one of the things that people have been really asking for in Classroom is some way to kind of obviously have a rubric, but they wanted it integrated into their assignments. And so, Google does listen to us as educators when we request features in Classroom. It doesn't happen overnight, obviously, and it would take several people requesting it, but this has been requested many, many times over. And so now it's launched, and so you can, inside of an assignment, you'll have the option now to create a new rubric. And it's just, when you're building the assignment, you'll have the option right in there to build it. And as you can see in these little screenshots down below, it's really self-explanatory. When you're building it, you just start off by selecting your criterion, and then you kind of write your expectations or your descriptions in for each of them and put some points associated with it. You can duplicate those criterion so you don't have to keep typing the same thing over and over again. But here it is, create the rubric. Then you add your criterion. See, I put 4 points, exceeds expectations. I kind of made all that stuff up, which there are lots of pre-made rubrics out there you can borrow from.
Awesome.
And then it's really simple. You can just hit the plus symbol to add a new point value, and you can just have as many point values as you want. I really like that maybe for clarity, we have 4 or 5 points, but when I add a new criterion, I can make it worth only 2 points. Once you've added it, you just have to make sure you save it. This is my recommendation to people. I will say this. Once you've added it and students are doing their assignment, they can click on the rubric in the assignment to see what they could be graded against. Like they'll be able to kind of gauge, their level of willingness to do their work, right? Because we know some kids will do exactly what they need to do to get an A and exactly what they need to do to get a C. They know it.
Right.
You still have to, when you're grading the assignment and you're in the little grader screen, you can open that rubric up and just click on the point values, and it will kind of make a little, I don't know how to word it, but they'll kind of add up your total points that you got out of the available points. It doesn't contribute to the grade, though. That's one feature I wish that it did have, and it doesn't yet. And I say yet because I do feel like it probably will come.
Yeah.
But right now, when you're grading it, you just select all the boxes that you want. It'll give you a total point value, and then you can choose to add extra points or subtract points for late work or things like that, and then you have your little place right above it that's the official grade. So all that's right there on the grading screen, really easy to see. And cool. Yeah, I mean, I think this is really a great step forward for the way that we grade in Classroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've heard nothing but positive things about the changes that Classroom has made over the summer. So I know that teachers are really excited about it.
Yes.
Okay, what do we have next? I don't remember the order, so I feel like this is Priority Drive. Oh, I'm really excited to talk about this. So Priority Drive is new in Google Drive, and this is a video that's on here. I'm a little upset that the words are no longer in front of the video, but that's okay. It's a minor thing. But what I loved about Priority Drive is there are so many days that I need multiple tabs open. And I know we have Tab Cloud and we have extensions that will let me open a set of tabs, but I really need working documents. So Alicia, when she's working on things for Fried Online, will share things with me. Sometimes Amy and I are working on a project. Sometimes Jess and I are working on a project. And with the Priority Drive page, I'm able to make workspaces. So that means I can go in and I can create these little miniature workspaces, almost like little folders, and I can add any of the documents I want to them. Now, it doesn't open all the tabs at one time, but then it's a very quick place. I can jump in there and grab 1 or 2 documents that I need to add something to or I need to work. And then when I'm done with the workspace, I just get rid of it, and it doesn't delete any of my files from its original organization. I've been using it like crazy, and I'm pretty obsessed with it, but I love anything organization. So, because sometimes Amy puts things in certain folders, and then Alicia will put it inside of 12 other folders. And well, not not 12, like 12 versions of it, but like inside of this folder, inside of this.
It's subfolders.
Yeah,
it's subfolders inside
And
subfolders.
then there's me who just has all my stuff floating in my Google Drive without being in a folder at all.
So when she shares things with me, so this is my way of not giving them a hard time about the way they organize their life. I can take all of their things and put it into my own organization.
You know, it's funny you say that though, because I literally want more to like be able in this priority thing. I wanted to be able to put folders in my workspace. Like
that's called Google Drive.
I know, but I wanted like a workspace with certain folders. Like I wanted more with the files because I love folders.
Alicia wants folders. I can only imagine.
Y'all, this is just Google using the same power of Shift Z.
It kind of is.
It kind of is forcing the Shift Z without having to make people use Shift Z. How interesting.
Yeah, I agree. Right. Alfonso said he bookmarks his folders, which I do that as well a lot of times.
I do too. But
I use my bookmark bar. I do too, and it's easier. It's easy for me to get in there. The other thing about the priority drive page is that you can choose in your settings whether or not you want this to be your default page when you go to Google Drive. So if you want it to go there instead of the My Drive page, then you can set it in your settings that it opens to your priority page instead.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I guess I'm going to have to start using it.
Okay, I will move on. I know we're trying to get through those quickly.
This one's pretty quick though. I mean,
yeah.
Team Drive came out, 2 years ago, and it was kind of an unknown quantity for many people for quite some time. It does operate a little differently than the regular Google Drive. And now Google's gone and changed the name from Team Drives to Shared Drives, which is not to be confused with Shared with Me. So if you were using...
Jeff.
Me too.
I felt like it was
such a great job changing that name like that. Bravo.
Thank you. But you know what trips me up is it's not just Team Drive, it's Team Drives with an S.
Yeah.
So it's now Shared Drives with an S. But that's it. It's a pretty simple, straightforward change. No functionality has changed. It's literally just a new label.
Yeah, and I must say that I have heard a little feedback from this, and I think that schools are just having to really think of a way to move around it, but they called their internal drives their shared drive.
Right.
So they're just trying to make sure that they say Google shared drive.
Right,
so
like the U drive or the S drive.
So I think that's caused a little bit of confusion, but they're making their way around it.
Now it's just the Goo drive.
The Goo drive. The Goo shared. Yep.
I like it. Who did grammar checker?
I did. And so, okay, so when you're typing in docs, everybody's always been aware of that squiggly red line, the spell check. And we can use some resources that are kind of built in Google Docs to kind of correct spelling. But what they've added is now, it's just like in other word processing programs, now you have that blue squiggly line, and it is a grammar corrector. And what I think is pretty nifty, and you don't have to show the video or anything, but if you actually would go back over to our TacoBout agenda, because it's a doc, if you look up at the top where it says tools in your toolbar.
Oh, okay.
You'll see the spelling and grammar as that first option at the very top. That's always been there, but now you have a few more things in this menu, and the one that I think is pretty interesting is that very first one. It's called the spelling and grammar check, and it kind of pops up a little wizard on the sidebar, and if you have any of those red squiggly lines or blue squiggly lines, it calls them out to you individually, and you can just move through them one at a time with that little arrow, and you can either choose to accept their suggestion for it or ignore it. So it's kind of a less annoying version of that little paperclip guy who used to hover over the bottom of
Clippy!
Yes, well, this is not annoying Clippy. This is only when I want to look at it, spell checker. But yeah, once you've navigated through all of those suggestions, you don't have to close the box. It will just go away on its own. So it's really kind of not obtrusive. It's pretty handy. And so far, it's been pretty useful with the grammar check.
Yeah, and I want to throw this out there while we're talking about it. I just saw it the other day, and now when you click on tools, that same tool menu you were just in, Amy, when you click on word count, it will stay on. See down there, a little box where it says display word count while typing.
Ooh.
And click OK. It'll stay on in the bottom left-hand corner.
Look at that.
And you can change it between character count and word count, so you can see exactly what you're typing while you're going.
So you know when you're going to be done with your English essay, which has to be 500
Isn't that
words.
Awesome?
Yeah. I told you about that time my husband was writing a paper and he turned it in and it was short by like 75 words and the professor sent it back and was like, it's very important that it reaches the word count. I was like, he wrote a great paper. Stop worrying about the word count. But man, this would have been nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Isn't that amazing?
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
That was the bonus. I knew I was going to shock you guys with that.
It's really new. I just saw it come out.
It is really, really new.
It's really new.
With it, so I was glad it all was there and worked.
Hey, before we switch screens on this one, can I just say one thing? In this video, you see the title slide there. Google AI is a huge part of how they power the grammar checker. And so I just want to make a point to say that it is going to get smarter over time. So any of the times that it's missing grammar right now, it's going to start picking up on people's changes that they accept or reject, and it's going to grow because that's how the AI machine works. But I think that's pretty interesting.
That's a great
I never think about the fact that these little features are really just artificial intelligence learning from our behaviors. We're teaching it by using it.
Yeah,
amazing. I know. I've noticed that with the Smart Compose in Gmail.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah,
like,
that's helpful.
I mean, it went from just a few words here and there. It was trying to finish my sentences to now it's like, I'm getting full, complete sense. I'm like, ooh, you're so much smarter than me. That sounds great. Yes. Tab, period. Sounds good.
I think that's exactly what I was going to say. Thank you very much. Swipe.
Yes. I will take it.
Yes. I love it.
Love it.
It is the rise of the machines, Alfonso. Yikes.
Yes.
But we need
in a good way, I hope.
I know. All right, Alicia.
This one was mine. Can you click on it?
Click on what, the slide? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it may take you to the blog. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look, good job, Brooke.
Thank you.
So this one is new. It's a feature, kind of like revision history, but basically it makes a new document and shows you all of those revisions kind of live. So it's called Compare Documents. And so basically kind of what I just said, it takes those two documents or whatever and puts them into a separate third one, and it'll show you like all of the changes that have been made like in that live document. So like as an English teacher, obviously it's really awesome because you can see all of the suggestions and changes in one place at one time, see what changes have been made.
Yeah, and it shows it by color, which I really love. So like once I've laid, basically I'm calling it laid that one document on top of the other document, and you have to be patient. It takes a few minutes, It takes a long time to load, but then once it loads, it makes a certain color and marks everything out, but it makes it transparent, like a little bit see-through, so you can see exactly what was done. And it's pretty much, it's amazing. I've shown it a couple times to a few different set of teachers, and they're like, "Oh, this is so great!" And I know that there are people who are now waiting for this for sheets.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And since I don't use sheets very often, I just act really excited for them when they think about the possibility.
Oh yeah,
you do not know what you're missing.
Yeah, all those numbers, people. But so it's pretty cool because like going through revision history, I have to click through a lot of things. So I thought it was really great to be able to see it all at once and see a lot of possibilities for anyone that uses it with their students. So it's pretty cool.
Yes, definitely.
I think it would be cool to see like some of the schools like yearly reports and things that they have to turn in, if they were able to overlay like last year and this year to even see, the different things that they changed in their yearly reports.
Yeah.
Oh, that is interesting.
That's a good idea. Yeah. I like that.
This change is actually really simple, and I did talk to somebody recently who isn't able to see these changes, so I'm not sure of the real life situation. Yeah, I don't know how it is rolling out to you guys, but I'm able to see it. So I think, and most people that I worked with today were able to see it. This is super simple though. When you're in the middle of a slide deck, and let's say, so we do a lot of reading in language arts, and sometimes when we start reading, having conversations, things derail. But I don't want to stop the derail because it's really valuable conversation and thought and all that good stuff. So sometimes it's nice to just like turn off what's on the screen and let's go with what we're talking about. This is a teachable, learnable moment. But I don't want to like stop my slide presentation.
Hey everybody, it's Jessica with friEd.
I made you talk.
That's all right.
To.
Everybody wants to listen to me. It's all right. But what you can do when you're in a slide presentation is instead of turning off the slides or turning off your monitor or whatever, just hit a B, the letter B, to make your screen black. Hit any key to make it come back. Or you can hit the letter W to make it totally white. And again, you can just hit any letter, any
So
key
cool.
to get it back. So just in the moment when you need to kind of stop looking at the screen and start focusing your attention somewhere else, you can just kind of take everything off the screen. And it just is handy because now you don't have to come out of presentation mode, you know, finagle with your screen. That's like 3 or 4 clicks, which isn't a lot, but when you're really trying to go with the momentum, this is real nice just to hit a key on your keyboard and move to something different and come back to it.
Yeah, that's great.
And then also in slides, kind of on at the same time they updated that, one of the other things that they have done now is that when you're in presentation mode, you can adjust your slide timings. And at first I didn't realize how much of an upgrade this was until I realized the only way that you can auto play your slides on a certain time at a certain time interval is to publish your slides. When you publish slides, you have to get a new link, which has to be bookmarked or pasted somewhere or shared out with an email. And so it isn't like when I'm in class and I'm talking to my students and I just go up in presentation mode. I have to actually like pull up that published link. And only then could I have rehearsed timings. But now if I'm in a presentation, I can just click the gear and turn on the auto advance slides and let it auto advance for me. And of course, if I want to stop it, I just hit the pause or stop button and it will just go back to manual, manual times. But yeah.
I think that's super great. I've seen so many people use that for non-presentation, like people speaking presentations. I've seen it used in schools when they're running like tournaments throughout the school building. And so they've got it open on projectors and they're putting the winners in brackets and that sort of thing. And I know that they were having to pull it all down and change things so that kids were having enough time to look to see what room they're supposed to go to next for their next match, or giving that sort of announcements. And I think that's going to be great because they can make it faster in the beginning, and as the day goes, as they add more information, they can slow it down to be published.
Well, in that same vein too, I mean, if things change and I have to go change my slide deck, I have to wait. It takes a minute, not a whole minute necessarily, but it takes a second for the published version to update. But this is going to be automatic. If I make a change in the slide deck and it's going to immediately show up. So I think that's pretty interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow. It's pretty big.
We're learning so much from each other.
Yes, we are. I'm so glad we're doing this. This is me, right? I made this, didn't I?
Yes.
I think I did.
You did.
And I was so glad that I had this experience that taught me that people would care about this, because I knew it was there, but I didn't know that anyone would care. So I was working with some teachers, and it was one of those days that we were in the school district for the entire week and did sessions all day long. And I had a group of English language arts teachers come in. And I mean, honestly, I was getting kind of bored because I'd done the same thing over and over again. And so I was starting to try out new features and stuff like that because I was bored, not because they hadn't heard any of it before. So I turned on closed captions in Google Slides. So they came in, I just went down, turned on the closed captions. And when you turn this on, and it's going to be in that little bar that pops up down at the bottom, when you turn this on and you start talking, it is going to show what you were saying at the bottom of the slide. So it starts typing out everything that you're saying, just like closed captions on a television. And when you switch to another slide, it just continues your flow of words down there at the bottom, just scrolling them by. And I really didn't think that much of it. I wasn't really even expecting a reaction, but I was kind of surprised that the teachers in the room were really loving it. They were really impressed with it. They really wanted to know how to do it. They really said they were going to use it with their students. They felt like this is another, means of communication that I can add, and every time I add another way for students to hear what I'm saying, that makes life better as a teacher. So I started using it in every session after that whenever I would put my slides in presentation mode, because they were so excited about it.
I had such a funny experience with it today, Amy. So I was talking to the group, and my participants were looking at my slide deck like normal. And there was this table sitting to my left, and they were 2 first-year teachers, and they were kind of giggling. They were so cute. They were just kind of giggling and talking to each other and pointing at their screens. And finally, I looked at them. I was like, "What is so funny over here? Do I have something hanging out of my nose? What's going on?" And they said, "We're watching everything you say on our screen. Look!" And they had clicked the closed captioning button. But both of them work at the newcomer campus in their district, and the students in their classes often have never been in school before, or haven't been to an organized school since the 3rd grade. And so they said this would be so great for some of our kids who really struggle to follow along during class, and they were just like, they were talking about their ideas for how they could use it and who they were going to show it to when they got back to campus. And all along I was over there, just rambling away, and they were following every bit of it on their slides.
I should have thought about that, because I actually have a degree in a foreign language, and I don't even want to tell anyone watching this what language it is, because you might try to speak it to me, and it's been a really long time and I might not understand what you say, but I do. And it would have really helped me, because my degree was mostly based on literature, and so I was reading a lot of literature in my destination language and maybe not hearing it or speaking it nearly as much as I was reading it. And if I had had this, I could have understood what was going on. I could understand a movie with subtitles where I could not understand it with subtitles off. So that totally makes sense to me now that you say that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I just want to make up a really random language and be like, put it out there on the Twitter account where you can't see it. Next time anyone sees Amy Mayer, please speak to her in da-da-da language.
Oh, God.
Yes,
Sharon, yes.
It's bad enough in English that I don't know what people are talking about, so I don't need any help with that. But thanks anyway, Brooke. I appreciate
Sharon,
it.
I think that I just want to say I want to honor
Rocky
comments. I'm not sure everybody on this panel truly.
I do.
Yes. They're not all Game of Thrones fans.
You are such a good guesser. Love it.
To see Amy on a horse with a sickle knife, that sounds really exciting.
Man, I'm going to go get it as soon as I get out of this webinar. My sickle knife. Love it. Well, I am the Sheets fan that Brooke was referring to earlier, and it's kind of ironic because I really never considered myself much of a numbers person. I, have a degree in English and this other language I'm not going to tell you about. So I'm definitely a language person, a word person, but when I started to run a business, dollar signs started to get more and more important to me, and everybody expects to get paid every 2 weeks and all that. So I worked in spreadsheets more and more.
Wait, we get paid every 2 weeks? I'm just kidding.
Call Slayton if you're not. Okay, not me. But I started working in spreadsheets a lot because I had to sort things, and it just became more and more important as I started to run a business. And so I work in Sheets a lot now, and I really love Sheets now too, as a result of having so much experience with them. And this is an awesome feature because so often, especially when we're working with pricing things. I mean, we have a lot of discussions about how much things should cost, and, we're looking at how much time go into things and all kinds of different factors. So we go into spreadsheets and we make changes all the time because, we have a discussion, we decide to make a change, we change something. Well, what was that price originally? Or we gave this district a quote on this date. What was it on that date? Because we're going to honor that price no matter what changes in between then and now. So what this does, even though my GIF is not working on my screen, hopefully it's working on your screen when you look at this presentation. Because what it does now is it gives you a history per cell. So when you're looking at, it's so cool. When you're looking at one cell, you can right click on that and you can look and see when it was changed, who changed it, and what they changed it to, so that you can go back in time or forward in time and look at that edit history per cell. And if you're not already using Sheets, please come see one of us at a conference next time you're there, and we do Sheet Happens. So Sheet Happens is introductions to Sheets, and I think shows you the reasons why you should try using Sheets anytime you're going to need to sort something, and how it's going to give you so many more functions that you are never going to get in a document that just doesn't have the same capabilities. So try to catch that session, and one of us will try to share at least my love of Sheets with you. Some of us love Sheets, some of us do not love Sheets, but I'm a Sheet lover.
This is going to help because version history is helpful, but it's overwhelming, especially with something that's grown a lot or is a big document. And so looking at version history to find literally a needle in a haystack sometimes, this is so much faster, so much more purposeful, and it's going to make finding data or finding, going back in time so much easier.
Yeah, that's what we've talked about a lot when I've talked about this with teachers, and it's the fact that sometimes when I think about some of my data that I kept with my students, and it's collaborative, and I've got other people in there, and I go in and I realize that a month ago someone changed a formula in a cell. Well, I have to version history. I'm going to either have to go back and revert to that time and lose all this other data, or I'm going to have to copy the data, make sure it's stored in another sheet, restore, then add in the new data back to get caught up. And this way it's like, no, I'm just going to restore the version history now for that one cell, and it's going to catch up to everything else we've put in.
Yep.
I think it's
when you need it, you will understand why it exists. And maybe until you have that moment, you might not appreciate it that much, but just remember, right click in Sheets, because it'll be there for you when you really need it. Yeah. Yeah. Be your friend. That's right.
All right. I think that was it.
Well, except that we are giving away, it says right here, we didn't forget, we're giving something away. What are we giving away?
We're giving away a seat in one of our online classes.
So for those of you guys who are already level 1 certified, then Alicia, are they going to be able to give this seat to a colleague?
Sure. Anyone I get their email address, they can get the seat. I will do whatever you tell me to do and give the code to whoever you want the code to go to.
So a person who is in this webinar tonight is going to win this seat. I know a lot of you guys are already level 1 certified, so you'll want to give this to a colleague who is not yet level 1 certified. They're going to get a comprehensive online course that's going to prepare them for the exam, and they're also going to get a voucher to take the exam. So it's a pretty big deal. The retail price of the course is like $245, something like that, something similar to that. So it's a pretty big deal. And I think Jessica has got a spinner on her side.
I do. I'm just making sure that I'm taking out anybody. I mean, I'm taking out a lot of names because we had quite a few people who didn't make it with us tonight. So I'm just making sure. Alfonso, you're on there. Just want to make sure. Is it updating for you guys as I'm taking things off, or have you even opened it yet?
No, we're not seeing that. We're looking at the document right now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give Jessica a minute to do that.
Thanks.
And then, Brooke, will you tell everybody how to get credit for the webinar while she's doing that, and I'll open that up for them?
Yeah. So if you guys will go to friEdTech, I think it was OCT19 form, that's going to take you to a Google form. And as you are filling out the form, it's going to ask you for a password. And the password is summer-11, and it has to be put in there exactly the way you see it, summer-11, and that will then let you into the form to fill it out so that you can get your credit for watching the webinar tonight.
And this particular form, my toolbar keeps going on top of it, so I can't click it. There we go. This particular form, when you type that in, is a pre-filled form. So it should already have all of the answers in there that we could answer. And then you're just going to need to put in your name and all that kind of stuff. So make sure you type your email address correctly. That email address you type in is where it's going to go. Don't email us and tell us we spelled your name wrong. No, we didn't. You spelled your name wrong because you're typing it in yourself. And this is going to autocrat and generate a certificate. So if it doesn't come into your inbox, look in all mail first if you're using Gmail, and if it's not in all mail, look in spam, because it is, it's coming from autocrat, from a no reply. So it could get filtered out. But with that information, hopefully if we did everything right, you are going to be able to go to that form, and then the password, one more time, is summer-11 apostrophe, and just put it into the webinar chat too, so you can see it over there if you're here with us live. And Jess, do you have a winner?
Well, you want to click on the big fried winner, and you can click the little spinner, and everybody can watch it spin.
Oh, how fun.
So excited.
I hope it works, because, I've never used this particular one before, but it's very simple. I mean, obviously you see the names and you click to spin.
Okay. Oh, wow. I feel so
I know. This is so great.
Right now. Alfonso!
Yay!
You are the winner. Oh, I don't know. Can y'all hear all the applause happening?
Yes!
That's so special. I don't know if
it was so much fun.
Yeah, it was. I don't
That's
know.
Called wheelofnames.com.
That's pretty cool.
And the only caveat to this site, where all those names were, I had already had like 50 names in there, so I had to go in and remove all the extra names. I had to resave it, and it makes a new link. So it's not like a Google Doc. When you change it, it just changes. So just FYI if you want to use it.
Yeah, that's cool. All
That
right.
You were
is
so
super
fast doing all of
awesome.
that.
Yeah, thanks, Jess. Appreciate
Thanks.
that's
I
a
had a
very
plan.
impressive after your incredibly long
Yeah, long
day and
day.
drive
Yep.
No
today.
sweating or anything. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go look
Y'all,
at her in real life in a minute and see if there's any sweating. You
Yeah.
might
I
just might not be able to see it.
I had the best 2-day workshop today this last couple of days. So even though a drive back from the area where I was, the 4-hour drive, it doesn't matter. It was a really great couple of days.
Oh,
So
that's so
it
great.
makes it easy.
Well,
Don't wanna
shout
brag.
out to Garland ISD
Yeah,
teachers,
Yes.
they
second
were
time in a
awesome.
row, Tech Influencer Academy, and you've bragged both times about how just amazing the teachers were who were with you, the
Yeah,
influencers.
I
Yeah.
told Kelly if I ever go back to a classroom or to a district, I'm definitely going to look at Garland ISD. They have an amazing culture, and they have such, I mean, probably 40 or 50% of the people participating when they introduced themselves told me they grew up in Garland, went to Garland schools, and came back to teach there. It was amazing. Every other
Wow.
person was like, yeah, I went to school at so-and-so high school, and I'm back to work here. And yeah, they love it.
That's so
Wow.
cool. Well, Angie Cheatham and Brian Dean do a fantastic job in that district, and it's really been an honor to work with them and
Yep.
to work with their teachers. And it was so exciting too when I got to tell them about what Tech Influencers was, how excited they got about that content and about helping their teachers become more influential.
Well, Amy, you want to
Great
take
fit.
35 seconds and tell the participants on our call what the Tech Influencer Academy is?
Yes, yes, I do. So, Tech Influencer Academy is to help teachers learn to influence other teachers to use instructional technology. So, we know that in school districts, a lot of times there are not enough instructional technology leaders like a lot of you guys are, but that's what Tech Influencer is for. And we think it's really a powerful program, and we know that it's making a difference in school districts. So that's what it is. Thanks for asking. Like you didn't know already.
Awesome.
All right. Well, Brooke, you want to sign us out?
See you guys next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Hey, don't forget about our open house coming up. If you're in the
Yes.
area, what day is it again? The 19th?
Yes, October 19th.
19th. Yes.
4
And
p.m.
guys, we will definitely be back in November with some new topics. We have a few people who have been sharing some really cool lesson ideas that they have with us. And I think we're going to kind of do a share time
Cool.
of some cool techniques that we've got going. And I think you guys are going to join it. So please share with your friends and make sure that they come and watch us live.
Yeah, I can't wait to learn new things. Bye, everybody.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.